Hey, 8th graders, this is your first at-home assignment using a little video of mine to help you prepare for tomorrow's class. What you need to do for your homework while you're watching this video is to first find a Bible and to get something to write with, either pen or pencil, and then to get that chart that you got in class today called it was the New Testament books, or books of the New Testament. The chart with all of the it's kind of the building blocks of the New Testament. You may remember, if you were here last year, that you had a chart similar to this one for the Old Testament. The purpose of this chart is to show kind of the structure of the New Testament and to kind of give a picture that God really had in mind, a form in presenting His Word, whether it was the Old Testament or the New Testament. Since as 7th graders, most of you learned the Old Testament, now we're going to do the New Testament. And by the way, the people around me and all that, they're from this nice Apple store, and they're here to help me if I run into any heavy-duty emergencies, which can happen at any time. All right. So I'm going to assume that you've got your chart out and that you've got your Bible out. You may want to open to the Bible table of contents and look for the New Testament, so you know you kind of got an official good list right there, and then to get this chart out. All right. What your first job will be to do is to look at the chart with me that we're going to see right now, and I want to explain the reason why the books are laid out the way they are. If you're looking at your chart, every rectangle represents a book of the New Testament. I just want to caution you not to go ahead and fill in the blanks, because you may do it in the wrong order. So let's first look just at the chart that you got today in class. All right, now you see here the chart that you need to have in front of you. And as it says, Books of the New Testament. And so you will see 4 different columns, one laying straight up on the bottom, and that is the support of the form of the New Testament. And then you have 3 columns going up, okay, 2 of equal length and 1 in the middle that's a little bit shorter. So take a look at that. Okay, to begin filling in your chart, I'd like you to start with the first category of the books of the New Testament, the 5 rectangles that lay the base of that lay the foundation for the New Testament. So obviously they're the rectangles going from left to right. You see that the first rectangle has the word Matthew in it. And so what I would like you to do is to go from left to right at the bottom to fill in the other 4 rectangles that are going from left to right, right after Matthew. And to find those answers, you can look on the, in your Bible under the table of contents, starting with Matthew, and write in the next 4 books. All of these 5 books have something in common, and I'd like you to see if you can think about what they are. So stop the video if you need to at this point before we proceed, because then once you start it up again, then you will see the answers to the first section. Okay, so here are the answers for the first category of the books of the New Testament, and as you will see, they are books of history. So you can go ahead and fill that blank in. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Acts. Make sure you have the spelling right, and make sure, obviously, you have the order right, okay? Now, if you'll notice, these 5 books form the foundation of the New Testament. Okay, now, notice that I have put a star next to 4 of them, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are what we call the Gospels, Gospels. The Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And all 4 Gospels tell the story of Jesus' life. Okay, so that is where you read about all the narratives about Jesus' life. Now, then you have the book of Acts. And the book of Acts is not about the life of Jesus, but it is about the acts or the actions of the apostles who followed Jesus. You know, what they did after Jesus resurrected and ascended. And so the word acts is really short for actions. Now, what is it can you think of that would have the books about Jesus' life and the books about the apostles' life? What do they all have in common? Well, they're books of history. They're actually biographies, if you will, okay? The events about the people in Jesus' life as well as himself. Okie doke. So, check your answers again, and now I'd like you to go on and continue with the second category, the upper left-hand column, where it says Paul's letters to the blank. Now, even if you don't know that answer, go ahead and fill out the answers to that one, okay? And we'll stop here. Okay, I'm just going to talk to you right now while you're looking into your Bible. I'd like you to look in your Bible and start with the name Romans, okay? And you're in the left-hand column of that chart. I'd like you to work yourself up to the first 9 books of the Bible, starting with Romans, okay? And you're starting bottom up. Check the spelling because some of these words are pretty weird, and we'll try to make them a little more familiar to us in class, okay? So go ahead and finish that that left-hand column. You can stop the video right now if you want to try to do it on your own, and then when you're ready, get it started again, and then we'll look at that particular slide with those answers. Okay, so here you see the completed column of Paul's letters to the churches. Now we'll talk tomorrow more about what this word church means. It's not referring to a building. Basically, in this context, it means circles or groups of Christians. And anyway, so you see here 9 groups of Christian people that met under Paul's pastorate in the first century. So you want to start bottom up on this column. Make sure you started with Romans at the bottom, and then you've gone 1st and 2nd Corinthians, reading up Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. And I know those words are hard and weird, and we'll try to make them more familiar to you. But just for right now, check your spelling. If the chart doesn't help you with spelling, look in your Bible to make sure you have them in order from the bottom up and that the spelling is right. Okay? We're going to stop with this one. I'd like you to proceed on to the next category, Paul's letters to the, and I'll let you try to figure out the blank. The yellow column, you only have 4 books of the Bible coming up next. You want to start with 1 Timothy. So use your Bible table of contents and fill them in. And then when you're done, just go ahead and move on to the next slide. Okay? All right, hang in there. You're almost done. Okie dokie. Now we're looking at the middle column, the yellow letters column. These are Paul's letters to, and the word says the individuals, meaning that we have in the Bible recorded 4 separate letters that Paul wrote to individual men, okay? Wrote to a guy named Philemon, a guy named Titus, and he wrote 2 different letters to the same guy named Timothy, okay? These letters are different than Paul's letters to the churches because these letters are written to individual people, not collections of people. Okay, so you probably noticed at this point that on the chart I have different colors for each category, and that's to help us remember it better. Blue being the letters of history, the books of history, and green for the letters to the churches and letters to the individuals. Okay, so check the spelling, check the order again, bottom up on each column. And let's go ahead and fill in the very last column. These are a different set of letters. You want to start with the book of Hebrews, looking in your Bible. Try not to cheat and move ahead, although I know you could. And so you can just stop the video at this point and fill in the last column, the red one. And you're going to finish out the books of the New Testament. When you're done doing it, then roll the tape again to see the answers to the last column in the last category. Okie dokie? All right, you are on your own. Okay, this should be what your paper looks like. Look at the last set of letters. We call them general letters, not because they were written to a bunch of generals. Anyway, but it means that there's no specific person who received all the letters. They're different people, different groups of people, and so on. Check the order that you have, bottom up, starting with Hebrews, and then James, and then Peter himself wrote 2 different books. John himself wrote 3 different books, and then a guy named Jude wrote a letter, and then the book of Revelation. The one thing all these letters have in common, one thing, is that Paul did not write them. You are done. You are done with your homework, and be sure you bring this to class tomorrow, and we'll see how much you remember from doing this. You've been a great audience, and thanks for putting up with my new style of teaching. Okay, guys, I just want to introduce you to the guy that's helped me with this. He helped me at the beginning of the project and at the end, and it's only taken me 2 weeks to do this. This is Steven, and he rocks, and he works at the Apple Store at Tice's Corner. And I'm kind of the new poster girl for Mac products. Anyway, he's a very good helper, and I want to thank you very much, Steven. Right.
You're welcome.
Okay, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Say bye, Steven.
Bye.
Say bye to Steven. Bye. Oh, by the way, yeah, before we sign off, like for real, I want to introduce you to my 23-year-old college graduate son. This guy's name is Justin. Say hi. Say hi to the 8th graders.
Hey, 8th graders.
Yeah. And Justin, I taught Justin everything he knows about the Bible, and he sat where you are sitting today. He sat there for a long time and lived to tell about it. Right?
Yeah, amazingly.
So, right. Anyway, so concerning the books of the New Testament. Now, I know some of you think you might know the books in order, but Justin learned a really cool way to remember the books of the New Testament, and we're going to practice it tomorrow. So, he has suggested that he do a demo tape for you. I said I'm not sure he's really ready for this opportunity, but he thinks he is. So here is his version, well actually it's somebody else's version, that Justin memorized learning the books of the New Testament. And here we go. Justin, take it away.
All right. Books of the New Testament. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The story of Jesus, and then move on to Acts and the letters of Paul.
Yeah.
Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, all. Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, move on to 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st Timothy, 2nd Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Hebrews, and James. 2 books for Peter, and John's all 3. Jude the dude in Revelation, y'all see, that these were written that you might believe that Jesus is the Christ and his grace receive.
Oh, yeah! Isn't he talented? Why did he have to go into philosophy? Anyway, maybe he'll get his break on Broadway. In the meantime, that is your song, guys. And maybe we'll ask Justin to come in and make a guest appearance. I have to get the money for it, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, so this is Truly signing off, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with your New Testament books filled out. Okay, say bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. How do you stop?
The stop button.
Oh, all right. Okay. Bye. Okay. Oh, we're still going.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.